Queanbeyan's 2013 season started with a bang, but a massive injury list has tamed the Tigers. Ansley took advantage of the depleted Queanbeyan side and came out with all guns blazing.
Proves the angle, runs around, and it looks like he's done a great job there.
The Tricolours held a 29-point lead at the first break.
It's bouncing the wrong way, picked up now by the ever-dangerous Ellis. Goes one way, that's a goal. That's his bread and butter.
And a big 7-goal second quarter extended the lead to 52 at half-time, and the gap just got bigger.
Approaching the 50, Easto, long kick towards the goal. How will it bounce? That's a goal.
The Tigers performed well considering they were without 9 players. One of them, Will Griggs, was a late withdrawal, pulling out just before the game. The absence of skipper Ryan Quaid is also notable. He's out with a blood clot. Shaun Ellis was the standout for Ansley. He bagged 6 goals, as did Josh Bennett. For Queanbeyan, James Kavanagh was strongest in front of goal. He managed 3, while Matthew Little chipped in with 2 goals. Stephen Jolliffe and Sam Jensen stood up for the Tigers. Ansley are going from strength to strength and have now won 3 on the trot, moving into 4th on the ladder, while the troubled Tigers will be hoping some players can come back soon as they start to slip down the ladder. The score at the final siren, Ansley 22-6-138 to Queanbeyan 11-10-76.
Yeah, it was a good win. Take everything as it is. I mean, we're pretty lucky with Griggsy and Quady pulling out, late, which made it pretty good. So I thought both sides were down on personality, but I was, pleased with the win.
Oh, look, it was disappointing from our boys. Just our first 3 quarters were really disappointing. Our last quarter was really good. You can't afford to play like that against a top quality side like Ansley. They've got a good side, and we just come out and our intensity wasn't there those 3 quarters.
Sydney Hills Eagles and Eastlake were fairly even going into this match, with 2 wins apiece, but the Demons got the better of Hills Eagles, taking the win 7-14-56 to 11-15-81. Eastlake managed to hold a 16-point lead at the first break, keeping Hills Eagles goalless. They had a good second quarter as well, going into the main break with a 27-point lead, but Hills Eagles came out of half-time determined to turn things around and battled hard to get back into the game. In the end, it was a disappointing loss for the Sydney side, who fought tooth and nail, but the Demons were too strong. Eastlake's Samuel Mardling was the game's top goal kicker, slotting 3 majors. 8 other Demons helped out with a wide spread of scorers. Stephen O'Connor and Jamie Vlatko booted 2 each for Hills Eagles. Benjamin Burke and Damien Bonney were Hills Eagles' best players for round 8, while Chad Gibson, Sam Smith and Scott Bowden were impressive for the Demons. Sydney Hills Eagles and Eastlake have switched places on the ladder, with the Demons' 25-point win giving them the leg up to sit just outside the 5. The Sydney Swans are enjoying a stellar season, dominating fellow Sydney side UWS Giants in round 8. The Swans held the lead at every break, extending the gap at each change. After last week's loss to Brisbane, the Swans were determined to play hard for the full 4 quarters, and that's exactly what they did. Sydney Swans held a 20-point lead at the end of the first quarter. They led by 26 at half-time. At the next change, they were up 34 and in the end claimed a 49-point win. Mark Wiley was the best for the Giants, Anthony Miles and Samuel Schultz also doing well. Tommy Walsh has been performing well for the Swans. He was again a standout, managing 2 goals. Andres Everett was also among the best. He managed 3 goals, as did Mitch Morton. Tim Membry was the top goal scorer, booting 5. The Giants have another tough game next week, taking on Northern Conference leaders Brisbane Lions. While the Swans will be looking for revenge against Queanbeyan, they'll be carrying their good form into a grand final rematch with the struggling Tigers. Both Tuggeranong and Sydney Uni went into this clash desperate for a win, but Sydney Uni were hungrier and have now notched up their first win of the season. It was a great win too, taking down Tuggeranong by a whopping 76 points. The first quarter was evenly matched, with both sides scoring 2 points and 1 behind. Uni managed a 15-point lead going into the main break, but it was their second half effort that blew the opposition out of the water. The Sydney side booted 7 goals in both the third and fourth quarters, limiting the Hawks to just 1 goal in the final stanza. Peter Casey and Peter Dugmore managed 5 goals each for the students, while Benjamin McRory was the only Hawk to slot more than one major. He finished with 2. Tuggeranong will need to regroup ahead of their round 9 clash with Ansley, while Sydney Uni face an in-form Ansley. The Northern Conference teams had a bye this week with a rep clash against Sandford. A curtain raiser to the main match saw the NEAFL under-22 side take on the Sandford under-20s. The NEAFL side's accuracy gave them the edge over the South Australians, with 15 goals and just 2 behinds for the game, while the under-20s had more shots at goal. 20 points came from behinds, with 11 6-pointers. In the main game, the South Australian side went into the rap clash as hot favourites, and they lived up to the expectation, leading at every change. In the end, the South Australians were too strong for the Queensland and NT boys, taking the win 21-14, 140 to 9-4-58. The Sydney Swans are now 1 game clear on top of the Eastern Conference ladder. Queanbeyan and Belconnen are 2nd and 3rd. Ainsley has crept into 4th spot. Then it's UWS Giants, followed by Eastlake, Hills Eagles and Tuggeranong. Sydney Uni down the bottom, now with 1 win. The Brisbane Lions are the only undefeated side in the NEAFL. They're leading the Northern Conference. Southport sits 2nd, Morningside are 3rd, followed by NT Thunder, Aspley and the Gold Coast. Redland are in 7th with Broadbeach in 8th. Then it's Labrador, while Mount Gravatt are winless in 10th. Round 9 action will see Aspley take on Tuggeranong. The UWS Giants are up against the Lions. Hills Eagles face Belconnen. Ainsley travel to take on Sydney Uni. The Sydney Swans take on Queanbeyan at the SCG. Morningside will do battle against the Gold Coast. Broadbeach are at home against the NT Thunder. Mount Gravatt take on Southport and Labrador face Redland. For more info, check out neafl.com.au. And to stay up to date with NEAFL fixtures, results and news, simply download the NEAFL app from the App Store.